Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I will cover function. Okay, I will try to cover maximum of it. So let's start from what is function. A function is a block of code, simple block of code, or you can say block of reusable code. Used to perform specific task. Example like div greet hello, then call the function. So this is simple question. And why we use function? People can ask why we use function. So simply there is like code reusability. For code reusability, okay. Secondly, modularity. Thirdly, readability. And fourth, maintainability. So how a function is defined? A function is defined by diff keyword. A function is defined by diff keyword, right? So it is a keyword. So what is the expression? I think we all know that diff. Then we write the statement, the function name. Of course, here we write the function name, and then we use a parenthesis, parameters, right? Then the statement, and then a return expression, right? So this is a very basic and simple thing. And then they might ask calling a function. So after creating a function, we called it by using like the name of the function followed by parenthesis containing parameters of the particular function. So like I show there that div greet is a function, and we call it by the name of the function using followed by the parenthesis, right? So this is very simple definition, you can say. And what is function arguments? Arguments are the values passed to a function when it is called, right? So example, so like here, just like if I write, div greet like x, this is a parameter, then return x, you can call the function greet and it passes 4, so the output will be 4, right? So let's move on to the next part. Okay, so next let's talk about let me check Okay, let's talk about built-in functions. Okay, so what are the built-in function in Python? So there are a lot of built-in function. For example, uh, like like we write maximum. It is a built-in function. Then there is like length. We use it. Then print is a built-in function. So these are like built-in functions. There are two types of function basically. This is built-in function, and then there is user-defined function, which is created user-defined which is created using def. Sorry. User-defined using def, right? Now move on to the next question. So people might okay, no, just complete it. Let me just complete. Okay, next move on to the should I give an example? I think we all have done coding, so I don't feel this importance. I'm also checking. No, there's no such question. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, which is lambda function. So what is lambda function? Lambda function is a small anonymous function, meaning they do not have a defined name. These are small short-lived function used to pass simple logic to another function, right? So it contains only one expression. So basically, what is lambda function? You will say that it's a small anonymous function. They do not they do not have a defined name. Okay. So example like a equal to, suppose like I give an example like square. Easy example like square equal to lambda. This is how it is written. It is lambda x, then x, then print square of 5. So it will give an output of 25. So this is how our lambda function is written. This is a very like a short-lived function. So small anonymous function. Okay. So this is in one. We have written it in just like list comprehension. We write it in one line. Square lambda. So you can also create another one as per your choice. Okay. Now move on to the next question. Okay, so let me just give you the syntax. It's also important. So what is the syntax? So suppose I write a equal to lambda x is to into 2. So here it is function name, lambda is keyword, Lambda is a lambda keyword, so it is also an example of keyword, just like def and others. And next, it is the expression, of course, and this is the argument. So you can see this is the argument, it's a keyword. These are reserved, like this is a reserved keyword, of course, keyword are reserved. So this is reserved lambda, and then we write the argument and then the expression. So expression is written here. Okay, so yeah, now move on to the next question. Now let's see, returning a function. Okay, so let's discuss about the pass in function. Okay, so I think we have discussed about pass in the previous video. So what is pass? So the pass statement is a placeholder that does nothing when executed. It is used to keep code blocks valid when the statement is required but no logic needed. Simple, like we simply say like def function pass function. It will return. It will simply return no output. There will be no output, right? So okay, now let's move on to the next topic, right? Let's move on to the global and local variable. What is global and local variable, by the way? Let's discuss. Okay, local variables. Local and global variables. So what is local variable? What is local variable? Local variables are defined inside a function and exist only during its execution. They cannot be accessed from the outside of the function, right? So the code for, like, we will understand it from with the help of code. So def grid, if I write, and then I write like x equal to 15, then print 15. So you can see that this is an example of local variable. How? So we define grid with a local variable x and print it, right? So x exists only during the function's execution. It exists within the function. Calling grid displays the message. Now let's take another example. How? Let's see if I just write here. So here, like here, it is a local variable, right? So this is a local variable. So if I want to access it outside of the function, so if I write print x, it will give an error. Why? Because it is not defined out of the function. So this is the function. So it is not accessed outside of the function. So local variables are only accessed within the function. So local variables are defined inside a function and exist only during its execution. They cannot be accessed from outside of the function. Okay, now let's see what is global variable. So we have to declare it. Let's understand from an example. Global variable. So just like before, like if I say x equal to 15, and then I write greet print x, then call the function greet, then again say print x. So what it will what kind of output it will show? It will just show 15. Sorry, it will just show 15 and 15, right? So we can access it inside of the function and also from the outside of the function, because it's a global variable. It's not a local variable, it's a global variable, so it is accessed. So global variables are declared outside of the function and can be accessed anywhere in the program, including inside function. So we can say that declare inside of the function and access inside of the function, or cannot access outside of the function. Cannot access outside of the function, right? But global variable declares global variables are declared outside of the function and accessible, and it is accessed. It can be accessed anywhere in the program, right? So this is local and global variable. So you can access it anywhere, right? Now let's take an example. Okay, so also one thing, remember, you can also write it anywhere. You can also write it like this portion. You can also attach it here. Sorry, here. It will still be accessible because we declare it outside of the function, right? So this is the example, here or here, anywhere. Now let's move on to the next topic. Recursion. Okay. What is recursion? Recursion is a programming technique where a function calls itself either directly or indirectly to solve the problem. So let's go to an example. Okay. There is okay, write the definition first. It is a technique. It's a technique where a function calls itself to solve a problem. Here are two parts of a recursion. One is a base case, and the second is a recursive case. Okay. So what is base case? Base case is stopping condition that prevents infinite recursion. Base case is stopping condition that prevents infinite recursion, and then the other is recursive case. What is recursive case? Part of the function where it calls itself with modified parameters. Part of the function where it called itself example. Give me an example. Very popular example. Def factorial if n equal to 0, return 1, else return n into this is where recursive case will occur. Factorial n minus 1, then print factorial 5. So what will happen? Let's see. This is a condition. So this is a base case, right? This is a base case. It prevents it stops to not to go for the infinite recursion. So it's a stopping condition. So base case is always a stopping condition. It prevents infinite recursion. And this is a recursive part. You can see this is a recursive part. 5. You can see that if I take factorial of 5, so what will happen here? It will return. So it will check if n equal to 0, it is not 0. Then return n into factorial of n. So n is 5, and then factorial of n. So it will call itself, right? It will call itself, and then it will become how it will loop. So it will be factorial of 4. Then again it will be 5 into 4 into factorial of 3. In this way it will become like we will print, then the answer will be 120, right? When it will be 0, when n equal to 0, then it will return 1. So into 1, there is one case. So it is the answer. I think we all know that. Base case is used to stop the recursion or to prevent from infinite loop. A recursive case is multiplies n with the factorial n minus 1 until it reaches the base case. Okay. Now there are two types of recursion: tail recursion and non-tail recursion. I will not discuss about this because I don't think this is that much important. Okay, there's a small there's a difference. Okay, let's discuss the difference. So you can see that iteration and recursion are not like similar. They can do similar types of work, but they're not same. So what is the difference between recursion and iteration? Here a function call itself to repeat the task. Where the iteration happen, it uses loops to repeat steps. Right, and it uses more memory, where it uses less memory. So these are two basic examples. You can say this is also slower, and this is faster, generally faster. Okay, so yeah, I will cover function in another video. Okay, thank you.